Changing states. In this nugget, we'll be looking at changing states. There are three states of matter: solids, liquids, and gases. All matter can be in each of these three states, but at different temperatures. Let's think about water. Water's a liquid, but what's it called when it's a solid or a gas? Water can be a solid when it's ice, or a gas when it's water vapour. Substances can change between states depending on their temperature. Have a think about what it's called when ice turns into water, or when water turns into water vapour. What are the names of the changes of state? When an ice cube is in the freezer, it has a temperature of -4 degrees Celsius. It's very cold. Let's take some ice out of the freezer. If we put the ice in a beaker on the windowsill, it will melt and become water. It changes state from a solid to a liquid. This is known as melting. This happens at 0 degrees Celsius for water. We call this the melting point. Remember, different solids will melt at different temperatures. If we heat the water up even further, it will boil. We'll start to see bubbles of gas rising in it. It's changing state from liquid to gas. This happens at 100 degrees Celsius. This is known as the boiling point. Remember, different liquids will boil at different temperatures. If you leave this hot cup of tea for a while, it will cool down. This is because the surface of the liquid has changed states from a liquid to a gas. This is known as evaporation. Evaporation and boiling can be easily confused. The difference between the two is that boiling is when the whole of the liquid changes states from a liquid to a gas, and this happens at a particular temperature, the boiling point. Evaporation can happen at any temperature, and this is when the high-energy particles at the surface of the liquid change state into a gas. If we fill a balloon up with water vapour from the kettle and put it in a fridge, it will cool down. The water vapour will change from a gas to a liquid. It will condense. If we move that balloon into the freezer, the water will freeze. It will turn from a liquid to a solid and become ice. This is known as freezing. Some solids can get turned into gases without the need for turning into a liquid first. This is called sublimation. An example of this is dry ice. Dry ice is a solid form of carbon dioxide. When there's an increase in temperature, dry ice sublimes and turns into gaseous carbon dioxide. Dry ice is helpful in preventing frozen products from melting, as well as for creating smoky effects. Here's a quick summary of all the state-changing processes. To go from solid to liquid, things melt. Liquid to gas, they boil at the boiling point or evaporate, generally at any temperature. To go from gas to liquid, you're condensing. And if you go from liquid to solid, you're freezing. And if you bypass the liquid state altogether and go straight from a solid to a gas, that's sublimation. To summarise, there are three states of matter: solids, liquids, and gases. A substance can change state as its temperature changes. And the keywords you should now be able to define are state, whether a substance is a solid, a liquid, or a gas; freezing, when a liquid changes into a solid; melting, when a solid changes into a liquid; condensing, when a gas turns into a liquid; evaporating, when a liquid turns into a gas; boiling, when all the liquid in a container evaporates; and sublimation, when a solid turns into a gas.